Magandang hapon po sa bawat isa. Ayan. So, good afternoon to all criminology students. So, how was your weekdays? So, I know, no, na marami sa inyo pagod academically and mentally, physically, kasi may pasok na din kayo on-site. But, it's okay. It's part of the process. It's part of the process of success. Hindi kayo magiging successful in the future if you don't take this kind of hardship. And don't worry, kasi kung pinagdaanan nyo yan ngayon, pinagdadaanan nyo ngayon, pinagdaanan din namin yan, at kinaya namin. So, kaya nyo din po yan. One day, you'll wake up and you're already successful to your career and you will think that every hardship was worth it. So, it's okay. Okay po. So, let's continue. But before that, let's have an opening prayer. Yes, Lord Heavenly Father, Panginoon, maraming salamat sa araw na ito. Lord, it's Saturday and thank you for being with us for the whole weekdays. Maraming salamat sa provision, protection. I bless each of the family of my students. Guide them, protect them, and provide their needs, O God, the food, and Lord, the shelter, Panginoon. Lord, bigyan niyo po ng wisdom ang aking mga estudyante so that they will overcome, Lord God, ang hirap sa school, Panginoon, at bigyan niyo po sila ng passion sa pag-aaral dahil ito po ay para sa kanila, hindi para sa aming mga guro at hindi din para sa kanilang pamilya lang, kundi para sa kanilang sarili. Maraming salamat po. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So, yan. So, let me pull out my PowerPoint presentation. Excuse me. Ayan. So, I hope nakikita ang PowerPoint ko. And so please follow because this is very important. You're already in college and absolutely guys, I'm sure na karamihan dito ay na-take nyo na nung elementary at high school. Hindi nyo lang maalala. And ito yung ano no, ito yung importance ng English as second language ni subject kasi nababalikan nyo, nare-refresh kayo ng mga lesson nung elementary at high school kayo na kailangan at na kailangan nyo kapag po even nasa career na kayo. Kasi kailangan nyo makapag-communicate ng English, no? So, aralin natin yung mga noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, and the such. But why is it important for you guys to identify ano yung mga tawag doon sa words na ginagamit natin? Tama? Okay, so let's start. Ayan, so last time, so this is our previous lessons. So number 1, we discussed the effective essay writing, paano ba magsulat ng tamang essay para hindi tayo dun part ng mediocrity ng mga kabataan ngayon na ang essay ay puro palabok lang ng salita pero wala namang laman. So I hope you've learned from that. Kapag gagawa kayo ng essay at hindi nyo alam paano sisimulan at tatapusin, pwede nyo balikan yung recorded discussion natin. Number 2, improving English fluency. I have to remind each of everyone here, guys, that you do not need to be fluent in English. No, you all you need to do is to speak basic English, and you know how to understand, you know how to respond when someone talk to you in English. That is what is important. So how could you improve your English skill is that you have to go out of your comfort zone and stop just tawag dito na ang alam mo lang ay Tagalog, na parang kampante ka na doon. It's not good. So you have to try other language, and English is very important to learn. No, you have to go out, you have to speak, you have to try. Hindi natin matututunan ng mga bagay na hindi natin sinisimulang gawin. No? At meron tayong mindset that I need to learn, I have to learn, I want to learn, no? Pero wala kang ginagawang action. So that is impossible. So you have to go out there and start English language, talking and speaking English language, no? And what are the common mistakes in English language that we seldom we often use, no? Na dapat nating tigilan, most especially when we are writing an essay or kapag tayo ay nakikipag-usap sa teacher, magre-response tayo sa teacher, huwag natin gagamitin yung mga salitang yon kasi we will be considered incorrect or wrong. Okay? And last time, we have discussed as well the noun phrase and the use, what are the importance of using noun phrase, what are the the usage of the noun phrase. Now, guys, we are going to discuss these three topics. We have the noun and its kind, the pronoun and its kind, and the pronoun and antecedent rules. So please follow. I need your notes. No, I will provide the link for the Google Drive where you have to input your notes, the picture of your notes. Ulitin ko, criminology, papalitan nyo po yung yung i-rename nyo po yung pangalan ng picture, apelido nyo pong ipapalit nyo. Kasi kung isi-send nyo yun, tapos ang nakalagay sa pangalan ng picture ay number, paano ko po i-record yun? Tama? So, please po, lagyan nyo po palitan nyo po ng apelido nyo yung pangalan ng picture para po kapag ni-record ko, okay, kay ano to, ganito, sa ganitong tao to. Naintindihan? Kasi kung magsisend kayo doon, tapos walang pangalan, wala po yun. Sayang lang ang pag-send nyo. Mahalaga po yung note sa akin, mga anak. Kasi dito ko makikita kung naintindihan nyo, may information kayo na nakuha, and at the same time, dito ko malalaman kung natuto kayo. Okay po? So, let's start. Ayan. So first, let us discuss about the nouns or or the definition of noun. So when we see noun, a noun is a word used to refer to people, animals, objects, substances, states, events, ideas, and feelings. A noun functions as a subject or object of a verb and can be modified by an adjective. A noun is naming a word which names a person, place, animal, or a thing. Okay. So, mga anak, kapag sinabi nating noun, napakadali lang po niyan intindihin. Sa Tagalog, di ba, ng noun ay pangalan, no? N-G-N-G, P-A-N-G-N-G, hindi yung pangalan na name, ha? Okay, pangalan. So, your name, ang pangalan niyo po ay example ng noun. Lahat ng nakikita natin sa paligid natin that we could identify kung ano ang tawag sa kanya, ang tawag po dun ay noun. For example, you are now sitting, you are now listening to me, and then gumagamit ka ng cellphone. Ang cellphone ay example ng noun, no? Ang notes ay example ng noun. Ang ballpen, lapis ay example ng noun. So, kung ano yung nakikita natin sa paligid natin, kung ano yung tawag natin sa kanya, ang tawag po dun ay noun. Okay, sa part of speech. For examples, John, lion, table, freedom, and love. So, that are all example of noun. We also have here, I live in the United States of America. I is an example of noun. United States of America is an example of noun. Emma is my sister. Emma is an example of noun, and sister is an example of noun as well. I love to play with my cat. I is an example of noun. Love is also an example of noun. Okay? Pero yung love, pwede din siya mag-function as adverb. Ay, adverb tuloy. Verb, no? Okay. To play. Play is an example of verb. With my cat, cat is an example of noun. Okay, so yun po yung mga example ng nouns. Basta mga anak, pag sinabi nating noun, everything that we see in our surroundings, even your name, the parts of your body, is what we call a noun. Okay? So we have the types of nouns. So these are mainly 8 types of nouns. So these are the classification of nouns. Number 1, we have common nouns. Okay, may mga uri po tayo ng noun. Number 1, yung common noun na tinatawag. Number 2, proper nouns. We have as well the collective nouns, the abstract nouns, material nouns, the countable nouns, uncountable nouns, compound nouns. So I believe that some of them or all of them could be or na-encounter nyo na ng elementary or high school kayo. So maganda, no? Or mahalaga na ma-identify natin kung ano yung types of nouns para whenever we speak words every day, we could identify na, okay, yun pala yung common noun, yun pala yung proper noun, okay? Yun pala yung pagkakaiba ng countable at uncountable noun. So, first, let us discuss what is common nouns. So, common nouns refer to the name of a group of similar things. For example, table, book, window, country, plane, or location. So, when we say common nouns, mga anak, criminology, ito po, from the root word itself, common, kung ano ang tawag natin sa isang bagay. For example, we have cellphone. A cellphone is an example of common noun. So, ma'am, bakit siya tinawag na common noun? Kasi alam natin na kapag sinabing cellphone, yun yung touchscreen, yun yung may keypad, pwedeng may keypad, pwedeng wala. Yun yung may screen, yun yung may camera, pwedeng wala din minsan. Pag sinabi natin common noun, naiintindihan ng kausap mo kung ano yung ibig mo sabihin. Okay? Yun yung common noun. Okay? For example, human. Human is an example of a common noun because it is common when someone, kapag ang kaklase mo, sinabi sa'yo na tao, okay? Diba pag nagpipinoy henyo tayo or nagsha-charades tayo, tao yan, okay? So, common ang tawag doon. Ibig sabihin, pag pumasok yung word na tao sa isip mo, alam mo ang ibig sabihin kasi common siya. Common means naririnig mo parate. Okay? And a group of similar things. For example, table, book, window, country, plane, and location. Ngayon, mga anak, pag pinangalanan na natin yung common noun, ang tawag doon ay proper nouns. So, refers to the name of a single person, place, or thing. So, ayan. So, for example, di ba, ang common noun natin dito ay location. So, yung location, pag in-specify natin, pag specific si location, ang tawag na doon, pag pinangalanan na natin si location, ang tawag na doon ay proper noun. Okay? Saan mo location gusto pumunta? Anong location ang gusto mo makita? We have Santos, Mumbai, Eiffel Tower, and circular. Ayan. So, for example, Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower is an example of location. Diba? Yung yung Apple, pwede natin i-categorize sa common noun na brand ng cellphone. Pwede din po siyang uri ng fruits. Yung fruits, mga anak, ang tawag doon ay common noun. Kapag ang common noun ay in-identify mo, in-specify mo, ginawa mong orange, apple, grapes, ang tawag dun ay proper noun kasi specific na siya. For example, when I say a boy, okay, boy is an example of common noun. Kapag si boy, pinangalanan ko, boy, Joshua, for example, ang tawag na dun ay proper noun. Intindihan po natin? Okay? Ang example natin kanina sa common noun ay table. Kapag ang table, dinescribe natin or binigyan natin ng isang distinction, a circular table, ang tawag na dun ay proper noun. Intindihan po? Ayan. So, for example, laptop. Ang laptop ay example ng common noun. Kapag ang common noun na yun, nilagyan mo ng brand, for example, HP, no? Samsung, ano pa ba? Lenovo. Ang tawag doon ay proper noun. Ayan. I hope you learn, no? And then we have the collective nouns. When we say collective nouns, this is the type of noun wherein it describes a group of things or people as a unit. For example, army, team, herd, jury, family, flock, and audience. So, when we say collective nouns, mga anak, it has members. It is a collection. It has components. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng collective nouns. Yan, yung example, army. Diba ang army, may mga members siya, may mga team tuloy, may position, may bawat position yung mga tao. Ang tawag doon ay collective noun. Okay? And then we have the abstract nouns. When we say abstract nouns, it refers to something which cannot be seen or touched. We can only think about it or of it. An abstract nouns names an idea, event, quality, or concept. For example, po, ayan, knowledge. Ang knowledge ay hindi natin nahawakan pero kaya natin siyang sabihin, kaya natin siyang isipin, kaya natin i-visualize ano ang ibig sabihin kapag sinabing knowledge. We have pain, hindi mo nahawakan ng pain pero nararamdaman mo. Honesty, no? Ang honesty ay hindi natin pwedeng makita or matouch pero no-observe natin siya sa ibang tao. Happiness, nararamdaman natin. Sympathy, love, freedom, and courage. Ang tawag dyan sa mga bagay na yan ay abstract noun. Okay? Kapag sinabi nating abstract noun, hindi mo siya nahawakan, hindi mo siya nakikita, pero nararamdaman mo, naiisip mo, no? At na o-observe natin. Ayan. When we say material nouns, refer to a material object. So that is very easy. For example, gold, copper, bronze, cotton, stone, wood, and table. Ayan. And then we also have the countable and then the uncountable nouns. So when we say countable nouns, these have a singular and plural form. In plural, These nouns can be used with a number, they can be counted. For example, friends, chairs, houses, and boys. Kapag sinabi naman pong uncountable nouns, these can only be used in singular, they can't be counted. So this is very easy. When we say countable nouns, terminology, ito ay nabibilang. No? Countable nga eh, tama? Ilan ang kaibigan mo, ilan ang mesa sa kusina nyo, ilan ang bahay nyo, ilan ang mga kasama mo, ilan ang mga kaklase mo. Kapag binilang mo yon, that is an example of countable nouns. Pero kapag kinonsider natin ang stars, although ang stars naman ay kaya natin bilangin, pero hindi mo kayang tapusin na bilang. Tama? Kasi napakarami. Tama po? It's impossible to count. Water. Ang water ay hindi nabibilang, name-measure siya, tama? Ang music ay hindi natin mabibilang sa ritmo or sa daloy ng tono ng isang kanta, but it could be measure how long is it, ilang minutes, like that. Okay? And then the measurement of the food. Okay? So that is an example of uncountable noun. Pwede siyang i-measure pero it cannot be counted. Okay? Ano pa ba? Oil. Yung mga mini-measure, mga anak sa milligram, gram, kilogram, bigas. Yan, mga grains. Uncountable nouns. Yun. Kasi kaya naman talaga siyang bilangin, pero hindi mo kayang ubusin yung oras mo kakabilang sa sobrang dami. Tama po? Okay. And then we have the compound nouns. So when we say compound nouns, these are nouns that is made with two or more words. For example, we have blackboard, bus stop, breakfast, sunrise, swimming pool, full moon. So you observe, kaya po siya tinawag na compound kasi po sa isang salita ay sa isang salita, tama, ay kinocompose po siya ng two words. For example, we have black and board. Kapag pinaghiwalay natin yan, meron po siyang definition. Pero kapag pinagsama natin siya, ang tawag doon ay compound nouns kasi bumubuo siya ng isa pang another definition, kahulugan, or uri ng noun. Okay? Bus stop, bus plus stop. Break plus fast. Sun plus rise. Swimming, tsaka pool. Full, tsaka moon. Kaya siya tinawag ng compound kasi meron po siyang dalawang salita or mas higit pa. Malinaw? Ayan. And then ayan. So we have here exercises. So ayan po, ulitin natin. So what are the types of noun? We have compound nouns, uncountable and countable nouns, material nouns, abstract nouns, collective nouns, proper and common nouns. So I have here an activity. So what you're going to do is to answer it in Word. Sa ano po? Sa Word file. Sasagutan niyo po siya. So these are 3 activities if I'm not mistaken. 1, 2, 3. Ayan. So we have exercises. We have 3 exercises here, and what you're going to do, write your name, your section, and then the date you made this activity on a Word file, and then sagutan po doon sa isang Word file. So kung kailangan kopyahin, sabi kasi dyan, underline the noun in the following sentence. Please write or type the sentences on the Word file so that you could underline it. And then here, in exercise 2, for each word or word below, indicate their noun type. So doon, di ba, sa lesson natin, sa taas, ano nyo lang po, hanapin nyo lang dito sa record discussion kung nasaan yung type ng noun. And then, dun sa notes nyo din. And then, identify nyo po kung anong uri ng mga nouns itong 1 to 5. Love, committed, failure, and team, and curious. Ayan. Identify nyo lang. Answer only na lang para hindi na kayo matagalan. Ayan. Hanggang number 13 siya. Hanggang number 13 lang talaga yan. Walang number 14 and 15. And then, for exercise 3, mga anak dugtong-dugtong lang to ha. Fill the blanks with the correct compound nouns. Ayan. So, sagot na lang din. Basahin nyo na lang mabuti. And then, from 1 to, I think this is 1 to 10. Ayan, tama. Ang gagawin nyo po ay, isusulat nyo na lang ang tamang sagot. Ayan. So, sa 1 to 10, sagot lang po ang isusulat. Basahin na lang mabuti. Ito po ang activity natin pagkatapos nyo matapos tong lesson na to. At, ang notes ang ipapasa. Notes, tsaka sagot dito sa activity na to. Okay? So, but before that, before you answer this activity, let's continue because this is important as well, the pronoun. Ayan. Ayan. So, let's discuss. So, we have pronoun. So, what is a pronoun, mga anak? So, a pronoun is defined as a word or phrase that is used as a substitution for a noun or noun phrase, which is known as the pronouns antecedent. So pronouns are short words and can do everything that nouns can do and are one of the building blocks of a sentence. So why pronouns are important? Kasi sabi dito, without nouns, we constantly have to repeat nouns at hindi siya maganda mga anak sa isang sentence or um, sa isang paragraph. For example, no, Joshua ride the bike. And then, di ba, after ng bike, magtutuldok tayo, lalagay tayo ng tuldok. Tapos, Joshua, Joshua dropped into the road. Joshua got hurt. Joshua go to the hospital and Joshua's parents came and Joshua get healed. Di ba ang pangit pakinggan ng Joshua, paulit-ulit din Joshua. So that is the importance of pronoun, no? Na instead that we can use Joshua, we could use he or his, no? Para po mas maganda yung isang sentence or mas maganda siyang basahin, mas maayos siyang pakinggan because repetition is incorrect sa isang sentence. Kapag paulit-ulit po na nababasa ang isang word sa isang sentence, hindi po siya maganda. Redundancy is incorrect. Kapag nangyari yan sa isang sentence, na paulit-ulit kayo, pwede siyang i-consider na mali. So, sabi dito, ayan. And that would make our speech and writing repetitive, not to mention cumbersome. Without pronouns, Barbara, yan, example. Basahin natin yung example. Barbara drinks a cup of coffee every afternoon. She likes to have it before dinner. Dinner would be Barbara drinks a cup of coffee every afternoon. Barbara likes to have the cup of coffee before the dinner. Using pronouns help the flow of a sentence and make them more interesting. Ayan. So, imbes na gamitin natin yung Barbara ng ilang paulit-ulit, we could use she or her. Tama? Kasi hindi po maganda na meron tayong repetitive na noun or words na ginagamit. Ayan. So, let's continue. So, if we have the noun and the types of noun, we also have the pronoun and its kind. So, what are the 7 types of pronoun? So, we have personal pronoun, possessive pronoun, reflexive pronoun, relative pronoun, demonstrative pronoun, indefinite and interrogative pronoun. So, let's go first to personal pronouns. So, kapag po narinig natin ang pronoun, the most common used kind of pronoun is what we call the personal pronoun. Okay? So, paano po siya ginagamit? So, when we say personal pronoun, it takes the place of a noun. So, what are the example of personal pronouns? I, me, us, we, you, he, him, she, her, it, them, and they. So, for example of an example, Colonel Mustard was invited to a party at Mrs. Witherspoon's mansion, but he didn't want to go alone. So, he is a personal pronoun for the antecedent Colonel Mustard. Kaya tayo gumamit ng he kasi ang ating subject ay si Colonel Mustard. Si Colonel Mustard ay isang colonel, therefore isa siyang lalaki. 'Di ba? Isa po siyang ang tawag pala mga anak sa noun na ginagamit natin sa isang sentence na nagko-correspond doon sa pronoun ay antecedent. So yung Colonel Mustard, yan po ay yung subject, tama? Ang tawag din po natin diyan ay antecedent. Okay? At yung he, kaya he ang ginagamit natin kasi yung antecedent natin ay lalaki. Okay. So paano kapag pinalitan natin siya? For example, Mia Mignonette was invited to the party at Mrs. Witherspoon Mansion. But, ano dapat natin gamitin? Mia Mignonette is a girl. That's why we have to use she. But she didn't want to go alone. Naintindihan natin? So, yan yung personal pronoun. And then we also have the possessive pronouns. So, when we say possessive pronouns, it takes the place of possessive nouns. Mga anak, pag sinabi natin possessive, pagmamay-ari, possession. Nanggaling siya sa salitang possession. Okay? So, ginagamit tong pronouns na to para i-show yung ownership ng isang tao. So, what are the example of possessive pronouns? We have my, mine, our, ours, your, yours, his, her, hers, their, theirs, its. Okay. So, sabi dito, ayan, example natin, Mr. Whiskers was disappointed with his dinner, knowing or considering that Mr., yan na nga, Mr., di ba? Whiskers, siya ay isang lalaki, kaya ang possessive pronoun na ginamit ay his. Ayan. So, ibig sabihin, yung dinner ay pagmamay-ari ni Mr. Whiskers. Kaya gumamit siya ng possessive pronouns na his kasi si Mr. Whiskers ay isang lalaki. So, yan po yung example ng possessive noun. For example, ano pa ba? That bag is mine. Ayan, yung possessive pronoun po na ginamit natin ay mine. Kanino po yung bag na yon? Sa akin. Tama po? Kaya ako gumamit ng mine na possessive pronouns. Okay. Let's continue. Ayan. Ayan. So, we also have the reflexive pronouns. So, when we say reflexive pronouns, mga anak, it refers or reflect back to the subject. Ayan. So, the reflexive pronouns are myself, ourselves, yourselves, yourself, yourselves, himself, herself, themselves, and itself. So what is an example? Andre just want to be by himself. Ayan. So mga anak, in this example, kung mapapansin natin, gumamit siya ng himself. Hindi siya gumamit ng his or he just want to be by him or he. Hindi siya gumamit ng ganon. So, it is very essential that we use reflexive pronoun in this sentence or statement because if we will be using mga anak, personal pronoun, for example, we use he or she or its, no? So, it could be expressing a sentence or the sentence might be expressing an entirely different meaning. For example, Andre just wanted to be by him. Iba na ang ibig sabihin niya, tama ba? Hindi na siya reflexive. Hindi na siya nagre-reflect back to the subject. Hindi niya na nire-reflect si Andre. Naintindihan po natin? Okay. Or kaya naman, Andre just wanted to be by he. So it doesn't mean the same thing. Hindi na siya reflexive. Hindi na siya nagre-reflect kay Andre, kundi may tinutukoy na siyang ibang tao. So be careful on using that, that kind of words or pronouns. Ayan. So we have to use, mga anak, reflexive pronouns carefully. So sabi dito, they can only be used if after a name or pronoun to which they refer. So ginagamit lang po ang reflexive pronoun depende po sa pronoun or sa name na nire-refer niya or ginagamit. So, do not use this way. For example, my children wanted to go to Happy Land with myself. No? So, because ang subject natin dito ay my children. So, hindi natin pwedeng gamitin yung myself kasi hindi naman ikaw or yung sarili mo yung subject, kundi my children. But instead, you have to say this way or you have to answer this way. My children wanted to go to Happy Land with me, but I wanted to go with myself. Ayan. So, kasi ang speaker dito sa my children is yung tatay, for example, no? So, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin yung myself kasi ang subject natin ay my children. So, you should use me. And I wanted, kung gusto natin dagdagan, but I wanted to go with myself. Ayan. So, naintindihan natin, use reflexive pronoun properly and carefully. And then, we also have the relative pronouns. So, when we say relative pronoun, mga anak, it introduces relative clauses. So, the relative pronouns are that, who, whom, whose. Ayan, yung whom tsaka whose, bihirang-bihira gamitin ng student, pero dapat ginagamit natin yan. Which, whoever, whomever, whichever. So, for example, the pirate captain who had never seen the inside of a schoolroom struggled to reach the ransom note. Ayan. So, the pirate captain is an example or the subject of the sentence. Okay? So, who was used to introduce the relative clause. Ayan mga anak, kung mapapansin natin may comma after the pirate captain. Tama po? Ang tawag dyan sa who had never seen the inside of a schoolroom ay relative clause. Ang relative clause, mga anak, ay part ng isang sentence na kung saan nagbibigay siya ng information, more information about the subject. Sino ang subject natin sa sentence na to? The pirate captain. Then we have comma, starts with who hanggang schoolroom, ang tawag dyan ay relative clause. Okay? And then struggled to reach the ransom note is an example of a predicate. Ayan. So what is a relative clause? So relative clauses begin with the relative pronoun and give more information about a noun. Sabi ko nga kanina, ang function po ni relative clauses ay magbigay pa ng mas malawak na information about kay subject or sa noun. So example, si Williard ang ating subject. Tama po? Siya ang ating noun. Who had just learned of the sun's power is an example of the relative clause because it gives more information to the subject. Use a magnifying glass to terrorize ants. Number 2, ants that are exposed to the magnified sunlight tend to combust. So I have a question. Is relative clauses important, mga anak? Mahalaga po ba yung relative clause? Mahalaga po ba na nagbibigay tayo ng malawak na information kay noun bago tayo tumuloy sa predicate? Absolutely yes. Kasi kapag sinabi lang nating ants tend to combust, hindi naman lahat ng ants ay ano bang ibig sabihin ng combust? Alam niyo po ang ibig sabihin ng combust? Pwedeng masunog ang isang langgam daw po. Hindi naman lahat, tama? So kapag nag-input tayo ng relative clause na ang exemption lang ay yung mga ants na na-expose sa magnified sunlight, doon natin marirealize na okay, yung mga langgam lang pala na na-expose sa magnified sunlight ang pwedeng mag-combust. Kasi kapag sinabi nating ants tend to combust, gina-justify natin na lahat ng langgam. Pero hindi naman. Yun ang kahalagahan ng relative clauses. It will give more information about the noun or the subject and then it therefore conclude or it therefore gives information to the subject which will conclude na kailangan po may mga ganong uri ng information para makategorize natin ng isang subject. Okay? And then, we also have the demonstrative pronoun. Ayan. So, mahalaga ang demonstrative pronouns, no? So, pag sinabi po natin demonstrative pronouns, this take the place of things. So, ano po ba yung mga demonstrative pronouns na yon? So, we have this, that, this, and those. So, yun pala ang tawag doon. Tama po? Madalas tayong gumamit ng ng this, that, those, and this. So, ang tawag po pala doon ay demonstrative pronouns. So, pag sinabi natin demonstrative, mga anak, it takes the place of a thing. Pag sinabi natin takes a place, tinutukoy niya kung nasaan ang isang bagay. Demonstrative, it demonstrate, it shows the direction. Naintindihan? So, kailan po natin ginagamit yung this? No? Ginagamit natin ng this, mga anak. T-H-I-S. Yung pinakauna. Tingnan nyo mabuti. Ayan, ginagamit natin yung T-H-I-S. Kapag po ang tinutukoy natin isang bagay ay malapit sa atin at isa lang ang amount. Okay? Ibig kong sabihin, kapag ang bagay na tinutukoy natin ay isa lang at malapit sa atin, gagamitin natin yung this. For example, hawak nyo ang inyong cellphone at ang cellphone na yun ay isa lang. So, we could use the demonstrative pronoun this. This cellphone is mine. Naintindihan niyo po? Pero paano kung yung cellphone na yun ay malayo sa iyo? For example, nasa kusina ka at nasa table ang cellphone mo, we should use that. Ginagamit po ang that kapag po ang isang bagay ay singular pero malayo sa atin in distance. So, that cellphone is mine. Do not touch that. Yan. Okay? So, kailan naman po natin gagamitin yung this and those? So, yung this, mga anak, the same po siya sa usage ni this. The difference is kapag this na T-H-E-S-E ay marami po yung tinutukoy or plural po ang ating subject. For example, I am holding 3 cellphones. Mayaman ako 3 cellphone ko. So, these cellphones are mine. Ayan na. So, yung hawak ko na cellphone ay 3 at lahat ng ito ay akin. Ayan. So, hawak ko. So, ibig sabihin, malapit sa akin. At tatlo sila. Kaya this. Ginagamit natin ng this kapag ilan, kapag marami. And those kapag malayo, pero kapag those naman kapag marami, pero malayo ang distance sa atin. So, for example, nakalagay yung tatlong cellphone sa isang table at yung table ay malayo sa'yo. So, pag nagtanong, kaninong cellphone tong mga to? So, pwede natin isagot na, those cellphones are mine. Kasi hindi lang siya isa, kundi marami na. At yung cellphone na yun ay malayo ang distance sa atin. Naintindihan natin? Ang tawag doon ay demonstrative pronoun. Ang tawag po doon ay these, that, this, and those. Sana naintindihan natin yung gamit, no? Ayan. So, we also have indefinite pronouns. So, when we say indefinite pronouns, this takes place to unspecified pronoun. Kaya po siya tinawag na indefinite kasi unspecified yung nouns na tinutukoy. For example, mga nakinig ko na babasahin yung example ng indefinite, marami-rami ha. I-note nyo na lang yan. Ayan. So, ang example po ng indefinite pronouns ay, ito, Office Ramirez heard something moving behind the dumpster. So, kaya natin tinawag na, ayan, yung something ay example ng indefinite pronoun. So, kaya siya tinawag na indefinite pronoun kasi unspecified. Ibig sabihin, hindi makategorize. Kaya nga something, no? Ano ang gumagalaw behind the dumpster? It is something. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo ma-identify kung anong uri ng bagay, hindi mo ma-identify kung anong uri ng hayop, tao ba yan, ganon. Kaya siya something. Kaya siya indefinite kasi siya ay unspecified, hindi siya matukoy. Naintindihan po? And then, we have the interrogative pronoun. So, when we say interrogative, it takes the place of a thing. For example, who, whom, what, which, whose. Kapag po ang pronoun ay ginamit natin sa isang question na sentence, or nagtanong tayo, nagbigay tayo ng statement na patanong, ang tawag po doon ay interrogative pronoun. Di ba may interrogative sentence tayo na tinatawag? Yun yung may mga question mark sa dulo. So, yan. Kapag ginamit po natin yung who, whom, what, which, whose, okay, sa isang sentence, at ito ay patanong, ang tawag po dun ay interrogative pronouns. And then we have here, ayan. So, I will give a sentence, and then we're going to categorize, or we're going to answer which word is a pronoun in the above sentence, and what is the type of a pronoun. For example of the sentence, the wolf covered himself in a sheepskin and attempted to sneak into the shepherd's flock. So, what word is a pronoun in the above sentence? We have himself. At yung himself ay anong uri ng pronoun? That is an example of a reflexive pronoun. Ayan. So, Jean Paul is going to paint something that will revolutionize the art world. So, what is a pronoun on the sentence? It's something. And something is an example of what kind of pronoun? Indefinite. Kasi po yung something is unspecified yung noun na tinutukoy. And then here, Prolicia wore a new dead animal skin so that Garlock would notice her. So what is a pronoun? Her. Okay, because Prolicia is a girl. So what is the kind of pronoun that is being used? That is a kind of a personal pronoun. Okay, so let's have a review. Okay, so always remember, everyone, terminology, that a personal, possessive, and reflexive pronouns usually fill in for people's name. And when we say relative pronouns, it introduce relative clauses which give more information about the nouns. And when we say indefinite pronouns, fill in for unknown or unspecified people, places, or things. Ayan. So, yun po yung pronouns and its kind. Okay, let's continue. Ayan. So, meron po tayong rule or agreement na tinatawag sa pronoun. So, bakit ba kailangan may rule? No? Bakit kailangan dapat maayos or tama yung paggamit natin ng pronoun? Kasi number one, mag-show siya ng kalituhan sa nagbabasa or nakikinig sa atin. So, ang tawag po dito sa topic na to ay pronoun in an antecedent agreement. So, pag sinabi nating antecedent, yun po yung tawag sa noun na ginamit sa isang sentence. So, here is the explanation. So, sabi dyan, the noun or noun substitute that a pronoun refers is called as its antecedent. For example, in the sentence po, mga anak, na Chelsea finished her presentation. Yung Chelsea po ay example ng antecedent. Siya yung noun, siya yung subject dun sa sentence. And her is an example of pronoun. Pronouns should agree in member, person, and gender with their antecedent. Kaya yan po yung agreement na tinutukoy natin. Kailangan mag-agree sila. Hindi natin pwedeng gamitin yung his. Chelsea finished his presentation. It is not agreeing. Bakit? Kasi si Chelsea ay isang babae. Naintindihan po natin? Hindi po tayo pwedeng gumamit ng his. Hindi po tayo pwedeng gumamit ng who, no? Kasi ang personal pronoun na her, okay? Ang her po ay pwedeng maging personal pronoun, pwede din po siyang maging possessive pronoun. Ayan. So, sabi dyan, if the antecedent is singular, the pronoun should be singular. If the antecedent is plural, the pronoun should be plural. Ayan, yan yung agreement. And we also have here, ayan, the following pointers will help in the special situation that are most likely to cause problems. So, sabi dyan, indefinite pronouns as antecedents. So, indefinite pronouns are pronouns that do not refer to a specific person or thing. Sabi natin kanina, tama po? When the following indefinite pronouns are used as antecedents, the pronouns that follows them should be singular and gender neutral unless the gender identity of the person is known or nabanggit siya sa sentence. So mga anak, ito po ang mga example ng indefinite pronouns. Each one, either one, neither, anyone, anybody, anything, everyone, neither one, someone, somebody, something, everybody, none, no one, nobody, everything. Dapat po ang kasunod na verb na gagamitin natin ay singular. Ito po ang pagkakamali ng madaming estudyante. Ang akala nila everybody ay plural. Everybody are present today. Everyone are present today. Everyone are eating. Everyone are joining the class. Mga anak, ang everyone ay singular. Yan ang example ng indefinite pronoun na singular po. Okay, maliban na lang kung all yan. Kasi ang all considered as plural kasi lahat, tama po. Pero ang everyone, everybody, that are example of the singular indefinite pronoun. So you have to realize, guys, na kapag po tayo naka-encounter ng ganong salita, kailangan po ang gagamitin nating verb ay singular. Okay? For example, anyone who has finished their test may leave. Everybody on the team did her best. Okay? For example, yung sa team na yun ay puro babae, ang gagamitin natin ay her, at ang her ay singular lang. Okay? Everybody, mga anak, pag sinabi natin everybody, ang bawat Tagalogin natin sa literal meaning ha, ang bawat katawan, ang bawat isa, everyone is ang Tagalog po ng everyone ay bawat isa. Naintindihan natin? Ayan. So kapag po tayo gagamit ng indefinite pronouns, ang dapat po na ginagamit nating verb ay, ay singular. Ayan. Next, two singular antecedents. So, two or more antecedents joined by and usually require a pronoun, a plural pronoun. So, it's very easy to understand. Kapag po may dalawang noun or subject sa isang sentence, pag may dalawang subject mga anak sa isang sentence, ang pronoun na gagamitin natin or ang pronoun na gagamitin natin ay plural. For example, his car and boat were left in their usual places. So, yung car at boat ang ating antecedent or ang ating subject. So, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin yung was na tawag dito na verb, na be verb. Tama? Okay? And then left. Hindi mo pwede gamitin yung leave kasi po, dalawa sila, yung car at boat. Number 2, Chelsea, Omar, and Manny finished their job. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na Chelsea, Omar, and Manny finish her joint presentation. Okay, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin yung his kasi ilan sila? Tatlo. Si Chelsea, si Omar, at si Manny. However, when the antecedents are preceded by each and every, the pronoun should be singular. So, every family and business must do its part to conserve the energy. Bakit tayo gagamit ng singular na pronoun? Kasi po, sinisignify niya na bawat isa. Every nga eh. Every, tama po. Ang ibig po sabihin ng every, bawat. Bawat isa, bawat pamilya. Ayan. Each college and university. Ibig sabihin, ang bawat universidad, ang bawat mag-aaral, ang bawat paaralan. Okay? Kaya singular ang gagamitin po natin. Ayan. What else are the antecedent agreement that we have to follow? Sabi dyan, singular antecedent joined by or either or neither nor require singular pronouns. Okay. So has either at Jane or Jean finished his report? Kapag daw po nakakita tayo ng either or sa isang sentence, ang gagamitin nating pronoun ay singular or isa lang. Okay? Is either si ano ba ay or si ano, ganon. Ganon kasi siya eh. Ay natapos na ang kanyang report. Ganon siya guys. Kaya singular yung gagamitin natin. Pag sinabi naman natin neither, mga anak, yung neither tsaka nor, ang ibig sabihin po niyan, si Darrant man or si Felicit ay hindi. Ibig sabihin, for example, no, may kaklase ka, dalawa ang kaklase mo, si John pati, si John pati na rin si Maria or si John maging si Maria ay hindi natapos ang preparation sa field trip or natapos nila yung preparation. Ibig sabihin, magkasama sila. Okay? So, yun po ang ibig sabihin nun. Okay po. When a person's gender is identified or non-binary, singular antecedents required to the singular they pronoun. Ayan. Has either Adjin or Chin has finished their report. Ayan. So, paano naman natin i-consider yung yung person, yung gender ng isang tao, no? So, gagamitin natin yung their. Kasi yung their, it signifies both of the gender. Hindi tayo pwede gumamit ng his or her, no? Kasi it would signify, paano kung sa isang sentence, dalawa yung taong nandun at both na gender ay nandun, si John at si Maria, gagamitin natin yung their. Okay? Kasi ibig sabihin nun, hindi natin pwede gamitin yung his or her kasi nga dalawa sila. Tama po? Okay. And the next rule that we are going to use singular and plural antecedents. Ayan. So kapag po naman singular and plural yung antecedents natin, for example, Hongja, yung Hongja ay pangalan ng tao ha. And our parents, si Hongja ay singular, our parents are plural. Magre-refer ka po doon sa ano sabi dito? The pronoun agrees in the number with the closer antecedent. Ayan. So what you're going to do is to refer doon po sa malapit sa antecedent. Okay, for example, either Hongja or our parents will lend us their car. Ano po ang malapit sa word na pronoun? Ano pong malapit sa pronoun na their? Yung parents. So that's why you're going to use their. No? Paano kung ganito yung sentence? Ayan. Either our parents or Hongja will lend us her car. Kasi po ang malapit sa object na car or doon sa verb ay yung Hongja. Si Hongja ay isang babae. That's why we're going to use her. So always remember that when we are agreeing with the singular and plural antecedent, ayan, kapag po sa isang sentence may isang singular, may isang plural na antecedent, dun ka sa malapit sa verb mag-refer. Okay po, naintindihan natin? Ayan. Next. Sometimes you must write the antecedents in one particular order to express the desired meaning. Neither the superintendent nor the workers recognize their peril. Okay, the pronoun there, ayan na, sinulat ko na explanation mga anak ha. The pronoun there agrees with the plural antecedents, workers. Ayan. Neither the workers nor the superintendents recognize her peril. So the pronoun her agrees with the singular antecedent superintendent. Basta anak, mga anak, kung ano yung malapit sa verb, ang verb natin dyan ay recognize, yun yung i-consider nyo para ma-identify anong uri ng pronoun ang gagamitin. Okay? So notice that the meaning is different in these sentences. In the first, the peril is to everyone. In the second, the peril is to superintendent only, who uses she or her pronoun. Ayan. Next rule, collective nouns as antecedent. Collective nouns are singular in form but stands for a group of individuals in or a thing. So, wait lang po ha. Okay, so let's continue. So collective nouns is antecedents. So you have to consider that collective nouns are singular in form. Lagi niyo pong natandaan na yung collective nouns, it use singular in form, but stand for a group of individuals or a thing. If a collective noun is regarded po as a single unit, the pronoun that refers to it should be a singular. Okay? If the collective noun is regarded as a group of individuals naman acting separately, then the pronoun should be plural. Ayan. For example, the group presented its resolution. So the group is acting as a unit. So gagamitin natin yung singular na pronoun which is yung its. Yesterday, the team signed their contract for the coming season. So the team is acting as a group of individuals. Kaya we are using their. So bakit po gumamit tayo ng their sa team? Kasi po 'di ba ang team ay may iba't ibang miyembro, may iba't ibang tao sa loob. Kaya gagamitin natin yung their. Ibig sabihin po ng their, ang Tagalog ng their ay kanila, kanilang, ano. Okay? Next, and last but not the least, singular they usage. Okay? Use the singular they pronoun to refer to one representative person. Treat as singular a person, an individual, the typical student, or an average American that could be represented by multiple genders. So for example, a person can never be too careful about their use of language. Ayan, ayan po. So, if you have any questions, mga anak, tungkol sa pronoun and antecedent agreement, and if you have any clarification, additional information that you want to share to the class, please message me. And please do this activity, which I have, ayan, sa screen na natin, no? Ayan, pakikopyan lang sa papel, yung dapat kopyahin at sagot na lang yung iba. So, I hope you learned something today. Thank you so much, everyone. God bless your whole week. Tomorrow is Sunday. Please go to church and always pray. God bless you, everyone. Bye-bye po.